Aspiring and young alumni. So today we have a very inspiring and young alumnus in between us, which has made our institute proud on not just one but many occasions. So I'm glad to invite Mr. Praveen Kumar to this UPSC talk. Praveen completed his BTech in civil engineering from IIT Kanpur in 2017, and he secured a staggering rank of 3 Indian Engineering Services examination in 2018, and also an All India rank of 5 in GATE exam. He secured a rank of staggering groundbreaking rank of 7 in UPSC 2020, and I would like to congratulate him on behalf of Public Policy and Opinion Cell for this groundbreaking achievement, and again would like to to uh, invite him to enlighten the audience with his journey through the UPSC, and also talk about his motivation for pursuing career in this particular field. Praveen, please go ahead. Praveen, you are not audible.
Okay, now I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
I have to connect with Bluetooth. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Am I audible currently?
Praveen, you are not audible.
Okay, okay.
No, you are audible. I guess you
Audible,
can.
audible, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, Shubhi,
Yes,
you are
should
audible,
be.
I guess.
You are. Yeah, sure.
Hello.
Now you are
Can you
audible.
hear me? Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Praveen.
Hi, good evening, everyone. यार बस बता देना, am I audible or not?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Hi. So यार, okay, everybody knows about myself, so there is no need to introduce myself. I will start with basically how to prepare civil service examination, as well as what should be the mindset of a candidate. It's not just an exam that you have to crack. It's more than that. I mean, I never just viewed this exam as an exam. I understood a lot of things about society, about myself, as well as how to become a good human being. Because getting good rank obviously is good. I also felt good, but I think the more important part is what I learned from my journey. How did I plan everything, and as well as what am I going to do after getting selected once I get post in the district? What are the different steps that I take? What are the values that inspire me? So, the first thing that I want to talk about is, so the outline of this session will be, first I will discuss that why, what should be the motivation behind becoming an IAS officer. Then what should be the basic principles that should guide an aspirant while preparing this exam. Then I will come to the individual portion, that is how to prepare prelims, mains, as well as personality tests, right? So now the first part, that is why IA. Obviously, a lot of people prepare for this exam to become an IAS officer. The first thing is, I must ask, as well as insist all of you, to become, while preparing this exam, while reading all the subjects like polity, history, try to understand the society and understand that how by imbibing good values, by imbibing the constitutional values of liberty, freedom, equality, live with those words, not just uh, to read those words and produce in the examination. Live with those words. Uh, Display all the actions that you take in your daily life. Display those qualities. What I think, that definitely not everybody is going to select it in this exam because there are limited seats. But whoever actually imbibes those values by reading our constitution, they are, I think, going to contribute more than an IAS officer or any, for that matter, government service, who just gave the examination, got selected, but do not live by those words. Okay. So first thing I would ask you to have a broad vision in life, right? You can be a civil engineer, mechanical engineer, or for that matter, computer science engineer. I think it doesn't matter what branch do you have. What matters is, are you able to utilize your skill or your whatever you have learned in your department for your for fulfilling the purpose that you have adopted in your life. See, when I was in my fourth year, I realized first I did an internship in France in my third year. During that internship, I realized that I want to do something where I can be among the people, solve the basic problems of the society by utilizing all the knowledge that I have gathered, that I have experienced throughout my life. Certainly, doing civil engineering and my 4.5 years stay at IIT Kanpur was really life changing. You must have heard about, I think, Adventure Club. I think, यार यहाँ पे सब कौन कौन से ईयर के हैं? फर्स्ट, सेकंड, थर्ड सारे ईयर के हैं?
हाँ, सब है.
हाँ तो यार तुम
First of
लोग
all,
एडवेंचर क्लब के बारे में जानते होगे, ठीक है। तो मैं एडवेंचर क्लब में कोऑर्डिनेटर भी था अपने 4th ईयर में। यार वन ऑफ द बेस्ट एक्सपीरियंस था। मतलब ऑब्वियसली जो कोर्सेज थे मेरे सिविल इंजीनियरिंग के, उसको मैंने बहुत अच्छे से किया था। But the extracurricular activities that I did, especially Adventure Club, it was really a different experience. I learned a lot how to network, how to organize an event, how to ensure that all people are safe, how to advertise about any organization. You know, those things stay with you when you become an IS officer or whatever you do. I think for me, even if I would not, even if I could not have got selected in this exam, I was okay with this. I knew that what I have to do. Currently, I am undergoing training in Indian Railways as an IS officer, as an IRSC officer. So what I thought that I will open one NGO. I had one plan in mind that I will, if I do not get selected in this exam, besides doing my railway job, I will also do one NGO activity. So I think, especially IIT people, they are really talented. So whatever you learn during this preparation, if you really stay by those learnings, I think you can do wonders in life. You can really change and improve people's life, and that is what matters. See, IIT can't, sorry, IAS is just a platform to serve the people. Definitely not everybody is going to succeed, but you should live by that. Okay, it's possible that I will not get selected, but it's okay. If I do not work hard, give your everything, give your 100%, but actually you started this preparation with a purpose, you can serve those purpose without being in IAS. If you live by that mindset, I think you can prepare well also. You can get opportunity from many services, and most importantly, you can really contribute for the development of that idea of India, which is imbibed in our constitution, in our preamble. Those words are really important. For me, I believe that a person who really lives by those words is has more character than a person who just got selected but do not live by those words. So I would really insist you to utilize your talent, work hard, prepare well. There is no doubt you have to prepare. See, for exam, you have to become a person with an exam mindset. You should know all the requirements of an exam. But most importantly, you should think that यदि नहीं भी होगा तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं, मैं कुछ ना कुछ तो कर ही लूंगा। अब कुछ नहीं, कुछ नहीं, आप बहुत अच्छा कर सकते हैं। मैं आपको एग्जांपल देता हूँ। मेरा ये प्लान था कि इवन इफ आई डू नॉट गेट सिलेक्टेड, मैं अफोर्डेबल हाउसिंग पे कुछ काम करूंगा। मैं सिविल इंजीनियरिंग से, आई हैव ग्रेजुएटेड फ्रॉम सिविल इंजीनियरिंग, and I know I can work in these sectors, and it can improve a lot of people's life, right? So this was the first part, that why to become an IAS officer. Now I will talk about foundation. See, any building that we construct, what is the most important factor that determines the robustness of that building? I think that is the foundation, right? कुछ सिविल इंजीनियरिंग के होंगे यार, तुम लोग को ज्यादा अच्छे से पता चलेगा कि फाउंडेशन सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। बट इन जनरल लाइफ में भी व्हेन यू प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर आईआईटी जेईई एग्जाम, फाउंडेशन वाज द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट थिंग। बट वहाँ क्या था कि इट वाज स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड दैट वी हैव टू बिल्ड आवर फाउंडेशन। What happens in this examination, people basically run to various various study materials, but they do not build their foundation. So I would insist you to build your foundation. What do I mean when I say foundation? See, what people think that for UPSC we have to read many things. That is true in certain sense. Yes, we have to read many things. We have to study many things like current affairs. There are so many books. But at the end of the day, what you really have to do is you build your foundation, build your basics. So for that, the basic standard books that various toppers have told, for example, for polity, Lakshmikant, or various NCERT books. So I will come to that part also, but I just wanted to emphasize the basic principles that should guide your preparation. Then I will come to the individual part about how to go for prelims, mains, as well as personality test. So in the foundation, make your read the basic books properly, revise it properly, uh, strict your preparation to very limited sources, and focus on the syllabus and previous year questions. This is going to build your foundation. The third thing that I want to talk about is simplicity. What do I mean when I say simplicity? Simplicity is, think about this. How are you going to manage your the entire syllabus as well as time? If for that, suppose that for history, if you have 2 or 3 books, can you really manage your time? If you remember one quote by Bruce Lee, he said that I do not fear a man who has practiced 10,000 different kicks. I fear a man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. So this is the idea behind simplicity, that narrow your preparation. You should know that I have to do this, and at the end of the day, understand your limitations. Can you prepare this amount of things by complicating your preparation, by sticking with 2, 3 books for one subject? So I would say that limit your sources, that is the simplicity. Understand the syllabus. For this exam, one of the things that people generally don't do is वो syllabus बार बार नहीं पढ़ते. मैं कहूँगा कि syllabus आप लोग बार बार पढ़िए, और कोई भी books पढ़ते हैं उसके साथ keep the previous year materials ready with you. For example, previous year questions for prelims as well as mains. You should, for example, if I am reading ancient history, so obviously old NCERT for ancient history was not written for the purpose of UPSC exam, right? This is a general book to basically make people aware about the history subject, history of India. So how will you understand what is the information that I have to basically gather from this book? Only if you understand the syllabus and the previous year, then only are you going to understand what are the information that I can gather from this book, right? Okay. So now this was the basic thing that I wanted to emphasize, like what are the things you should look for, you should have in your mindset while preparing for this exam. One more point that I want to emphasize is you have to understand your strength and weakness. See, do not follow any topper's advice in face value. You should understand what is my requirement. I never, actually, I think I would have watched at least 7 to 8 toppers videos properly. But at the end of the day, everything that I did was entirely my planning. All the books that I chose, I understood the requirement of this exam, and based on that requirement, I chose the book. There are some books that I referred to, which was very unconventional. Rarely any toppers recommended that book. For example, there is a book by PMFIS.com. They released a book for geography as well as environment. That is really exhaustive book. I mean, in both books, there are around 550 pages, but it's really pictographic. So I chose that book because I knew that I have to build the basics, and I understood the requirement of this exam. And based on that, I selected it. So that's what I would suggest you to do. That understand by yourself that what is the requirement of this exam and what are my strengths and weakness. For example, for me, it was not that difficult to directly jump to standard book, but for there are various people who have left reading of such kind of humanities subject long ago, and they might be a little bit hesitant while reading the standard book. So they can go to NCERT. So at the end of the day, you should decide if there is a requirement for reading the NCERT or not. For me, I understood that okay, I do not need to read the NCERT books right from 6th to 10th class. I just need to read the basic standard books. For example, for history, I read for modern history, I read Spectrum. For ancient as well as medieval history, I referred to old NCERT. So, are you getting my point? That you have to decide what you have to do. People ask question about, sir, should we attend coaching classes or not? Again, it should be your decision. There's nothing anywhere written that this exam can only be qualified by either going to coaching class or just referring to standard books. So at the end of the day, you have to decide what you have to do. Now, fifth point that I want to say, that never blame your situation. Never. Because what happens when you blame your situation, basically you are getting distracted from trying to find the solution. Accept your problems, accept your condition, and then start from there. Then try to find solution. For example, various aspirants, they call me and say, sir, आंसर राइटिंग बहुत डिफिकल्ट लगता है अच्छा नहीं लिख पाऊंगा. तो क्या दिक्कत है? I mean, you have to start from somewhere. And what is the condition currently? You should accept that and start from there. Then you can really improve, right? Now, another point that I wanted to say, that use the technology. I mean, there will be people who will be preparing from various places. For example, many students, they will be preparing from IIT Kanpur only. So they can utilize the technology really well. I would say, see, in this attempt, I was undergoing training in Indian Railways. So I had to move a lot of places. So what I did, all my notes, everything, all the books, I converted it in digital format. I exported it to my tab. There is an app called Notability, and I used to read from there only. I do not use, I did not have to carry any books. I just used to carry Lakshmikant as well as Spectrum. Other than that, I did not carry any books. I used to read everything from my tablet, all my civil engineering optional notes, as well as general studies notes. So I would advise you to use technology. For example, there might be some aspirant whose financial condition would not be that good to come to Delhi. They can use the internet, all the videos, as well as all the study materials and all the test papers. You can get free from the internet. So use those things. Now, I would come to prelims. That how do we go about prelims? Then I will talk about mains and personality tests also. So prelims, first, I would ask you to start with basic books, basic standard books, based on your condition, based on your strength and weakness. You should decide whether you have to go for NCERT book or not from 6th class to 12th class. But what I will be sharing with you is what are the different books that I referred to while preparing this exam. So first, about basic books. For history, what I did, old NCERT of both ancient as well as medieval, I refer to that book. For modern history, I refer to Spectrum. For art and culture, I refer to 11th class NCERT, as well as Nitin Sangwan sir notes. These two books, Nitin Singhania and Nitin Sangwan, I think both are good, but Nitin Sangwan, I personally preferred it better. You can decide by yourself what are the books that you have to read. Now coming to polity. For polity, I just refer to Lakshmikant, but 11th and 12th class NCERT of I think polity is really good. You can read if you are not able to understand the words of Lakshmikant, but I think Lakshmikant's book is really written very well. The words are very lucid. You can directly go to Lakshmikant. Now, third thing is economy. For economy, I would suggest you I refer to Sri Ram IS. You can refer to any book. And the third thing is read economic survey. Read it properly. All the data that are given, basic data. For example, what is the fiscal deficit of India? What are the GDP growth rate? These are the basic things. What is the unemployment rate? And remember some data of these basic things. Now coming to environment. For environment, I would suggest you to refer to PMFIS book. It's little bit long, but once you revise it 2 or 3 times, it becomes easy to revise it again. But the amount of effort that you will put in this book, it will help you in both prelims as well as mains. Now coming to geography. For geography also, I refer to PMFIS book. It basically covers the entire portion of prelims as well as mains. For mains, there are some topics which are not properly covered. For example, factors for the various location of industries, the location of various raw materials. These are the things it's difficult to find in other books, but in PMFIS book, it's written really well. So you can refer to this book. Other than that, yes, these were the basic books that I wanted to emphasize. For science and tech and other things, I will discuss it in mains part. Now I want to discuss how do we read these basic books. So during the start of my preparation, I just went with this basic book. I first collected all the books that I have and that I have to study, and then I started reading those books first. So I will basically guide you about how to read those books. I will tell you that for these books, for example, if I am reading old NCERT of ancient as well as medieval history, what I will do, one side I will keep the UPSC syllabus, another side I will keep the previous year questions of UPSC, both prelims as well as mains, and then start reading those books. Obviously, in the first reading, you will go through the entire portion, but once you start looking the previous year question, you will start to understand that UPSC does not ask questions about political conquest, random information. What UPSC wants you to know that you should be aware about the holistic, especially for mains portion, you should be aware about the major policy of different dynasties. What are the various regions? That's why Mughal dynasty in the ancient India flourished. So these are the basic things you need to know. Hence, I would suggest you that this should be the way to go forward for the study of this book. For example, if I talk about environment, one second. I had, someone is asking me to write the names of this book. What I will say you that I'm going to make another video about the holistic coverage of every material. There you can refer to, and if you ask me, then again I can write those books. Okay, but now what I want to emphasize is, see, you can know the names of various books from anywhere. But what I want to tell you or share with you is how did I go with those preparations? Okay, so I covered this, that how to read basic books. Let's take another example of environment. the book that I referred you to read is pmfis.com. Actually, that book is exclusively written for UPSC CSE aspirant. So in general, you have to read everything. But again, there are some extra information which you have to exclude, and you can only do when you understand and remember the previous year questions of UPSC. Okay, so this was the basic thing that I kept while reading basic books. Now what I did, whenever I used to read those books, whenever I completed one or second time reading of any static book, I straight away went to previous year questions. I solved those previous year questions. So I would also suggest you to solve those questions. You can uh, solve what I did. I solved only prelims questions. But if you are preparing now, I would suggest you to do both things. Solve previous year prelims question as well as mains question, so that you will have an answer writing practice right from the start. Many people say that in this exam we have to do daily answer writing. This is true, but why, if you have to practice answer writing, why do you want to practice something else? Just practice UPSC previous year questions, because those are the really authentic sources, and you can really understand what is the requirement of this exam. Okay, so this was the part about solving previous year questions. Next part that I want to cover for prelims is test. You can, what I would suggest you to basically mix all the various tests of different coaching institutes. What happens that coaching institutes are not able to simulate the type of papers that UPSC sets. But when you mix different coaching institute papers, you will get an idea about what UPSC wants. But at the end of the day, I would suggest you to really focus on previous year questions. That should be the basis of your preparation, of your entire preparation, both prelims as well as mains. And basic books, standard books that I referred to previously, you should, your strength area should be those books, basic books. Because if you see the question paper of UPSC this year as well as previous many years of UPSC paper, you will see that they really focus on fundamental concepts. They do not ask too much about information, too much about current affairs. They want you to know about the basic things. For example, let's talk about vaccines. There are many vaccines that are getting developed across the entire world. But you know, UPSC will never ask you about that. You know, if you know all the vaccines that are getting developed or not. What they will want you to know, that do you know how vaccines get developed? Do you know what are the different types of vaccines that we have? For example, there is a DNA type of vaccine. There are mRNA vaccines. There are vector vaccines. So you should know these basic things. Right. So this should be the idea. Whenever you read any current affair, try to know the basic things about that current affair. Yes. Now I will come to current affairs. This is really one of the most important, as well as this is the part where aspirants really get confused about this examination. That how much current affair do we have to read? What I would tell you, that understand the requirement of UPSC as a human being, as a scholar who knows, who are aware about their surroundings. You do not need to know every basic thing, every information that is happening around the world. What you have to know is, are you aware about the basic issues or not? For example, right now we have various games, computer games that are getting developed, and that are really basically children are really abusing themselves by playing many games. So what you have to be aware, is not that what are the various games, but what you have to be aware is that this is the issue that you have to aware, that how children are getting affected because of addiction of these computer games, how they are not able to socialize properly, how they are harming their physical body as well as mental body. So these are the things you should be aware about. So what I did for current affairs is I used to read the Hindu paper religiously. There is not a single day when I basically did not read the Hindu paper. Even today also, right now also I study the Hindu newspaper because I really enjoy it a lot. From by reading by reading the Hindu, I revise everything. For example, suppose there is a cyclone coming. So what happens? Uh, Obviously, when a cyclone comes, in the paper you will read about that event for at least 6 to 7 days. 2 or 3 days back, they will start broadcasting about the current status of cyclone, how it is getting formed. Then there will be news about how cyclone uh, did their landfall on various coasts, be it Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, or Western coast. Then you will read how various agencies collaborated to respond for that disaster and save people's life as well as property. Then you will read various editorial articles. So what happened while reading the newspaper? I revised the entire aspect of this cyclone. I understood how the cyclone is getting formed, what are the various agencies who is involved in responding to this disaster, how do we do disaster management, which is again a part of general studies 3. So that's what I want to you to focus, that uh, remember the syllabus and then study the newspaper and try to understand what are the things that is required for UPSC. What happens that during the initial time of preparation, you will not be able to understand which are the articles as well as news that is important. So what I did, I used to refer to there is a video, the Hindu analysis by Baiju IAS. You can refer to any analysis. There are some other analysis also. Based on your conveniences as well as your preferences, choose any video. But what should be the purpose of seeing that video? It's just half an hour video, basically analysis of the Hindu. They upload it in the YouTube channel daily. So what you should do, you should understand that how that channel is selecting various articles, how they are able to connect it, correlate with the syllabus of the UPSC, and then how do they analyze that newspaper. So your objective should be that you should be able to, you should become that much capable so that you can analyze that newspaper by yourself in the same manner that uh, YouTube channel is analyzing. So this should be your objective, and it will take time. Certainly, it will. If you do it daily, I think by 2 or 3 months, you will be able to understand that what is the various articles that I have to select for UPSC and how should I analyze. And if you really understand the entire syllabus, you will see that almost on a daily basis, you are able to revise many things. Personally, I made a very few notes out of newspaper. I mostly refer to magazine because making notes out of newspaper becomes little bit complex, while making notes from any coaching institute magazine is little bit straightforward. So that's what I referred. I told you in the beginning about simplicity. That keep your preparation simple. My objective from the Hindu newspaper was simply to understand the issue and keep analyzing and revising on a daily basis. While for the notes, I used to make it exclusively mostly from Vision IS magazine, while from the Hindu newspaper, I used to extract some good articles, uh, some points of good articles, some good lines. So that was the objective of making notes out of newspaper. Now, again, I will say that while reading newspaper, try to understand the basic issues. For example, let's talk about, suppose you are reading that how various MLAs are getting defected to different parties. Then you should understand the basic issues, that how in our polity there's too much corruption, how anti-defection law is not able to fulfill its purpose. This should be your thinking while reading newspaper. That is how you should analyze the newspaper. And if you really basically remember the syllabus as well as previous year question, you will be able to understand what are the things that we should basically extract information from the newspaper. Now, I want to come to main. Okay, let's ask some questions. Do you have any question about prelims preparation, so that I can clarify here only?
Yeah, so for the prelims preparation, from the responses that I received, like most of the people are asking, what is the right time to start preparing for UPSC?
Okay, here again I would say that it's your choice. Are you basically maturely able to think or not that what I want to do in my life? I think there is no right answer. There are some people, for example, this year as 10th ranker Satyam Gandhi, he started preparation right from his college time. Basically, his idea was his vision to become an IAS officer was clear from before his college days. So he was really motivated and he did wonder. But if you are not sure, then you can explore. For me, I started my preparation. I started thinking about UPSC in my 4th year. But then again, when I went to Delhi, I did preparation for CSC for 1.5 months. Then I shifted to engineering service because there were some problems. Personal problems. That's why I had to shift to engineering service. But again, this was my personal choice based on my strength and weakness. And I also understood that since I have done well during my graduation time, during my college days, so I am little bit more comfortable in civil engineering. And if I prepare well, then I will be able to clear engineering service. And along the way, I will be able to prepare my optional subject also. And in my both my attempts, 19 and 20 attempts, my optional paper was really beneficial. I did really good in my optional paper, and I did not give much time to optional. My major, basically, I gave most of the time on GS paper. I gave less time on optional, but I did wonder. So this was my strength. And the weakness was that I had some personal problem. That's why I had to shift to that part. So you should be aware. But again, I want to tell you one thing, that while preparing UPSC, you should not leave your graduation subject, because it really reflects you. If you have leave that part, that there are some basically students who would have got their department by luck or by just that their rank was that much, so they got that department. But whatever department you got, I will really insist you to do at least well in your graduation subject also, because it will not only build your capability, you will be able to utilize those knowledge while serving as an IAS officer. And even if you do not get selected in this, you will be able to utilize your knowledge. And even in personality test, what happens that people generally are not aware about their graduation subject, and the members, they ask about your general subject, because at the end it shows about your personality, that whatever you got in your life, you did well. And this year I was able to score good marks in my personality test, and one of the most strongest point was my civil engineering. I think at least 30 to 35% of the portion was from civil engineering, and I did well. I answered those questions, I think, well. That's why I got decent marks. So that was my suggestion, that decide for yourself that when do you have to start, but do not leave your graduation subjects. Become proficient on those subjects also. Obviously, you have to prioritize. If you are going to prepare from second year, you have to, you will have to sacrifice little bit of things, but at least do little bit good in your graduation subject also. Okay. Now, any other questions about prelim?
Yes, sir, there is one more question from the audience. They are asking, there is always a knowledge gap between the standard books and the prescribed and the questions that are asked. How can one bridge this gap?
What you are saying, that there is a knowledge gap between the prescribed books and the questions that are asked in the exam, right?
Yes, sir.
See, at the end, what I think, that if your basics are clear, you can tackle those questions also. At the end of the day, you won't be able to prepare every type of question. But I think if your basics are good, you will be able to answer the questions satisfactorily. For example, suppose that this year UPSC asked questions about retrovirus as well as DNA virus in the prelims exam. So what happens that while understanding about the various aspects of COVID-19 virus, we did not focus on the basics, that what are the different types of virus, how do they infect people. There was one question also about ACE2, and that was basically related to the spread of the virus. So if we become aware about the basic things, I think we can tackle all those questions. For example, I will give you one question. I will give you one example. There was a question in my mains exam in 2020 that the National Education Policy 2020 is in conformity with Sustainable Development Goal 4. Elaborate, right? So now you can say that, sir, we have not read about this thing, but I think these are basic questions. If you know about the national education policy, which you should know because this is a major policy of the government in the sector of education, and you should also understand what is SDG 4. What happens that people only know that SDG 4 is related to quality education, but they do not go into the basics of that SDG 4. For example, in that SDG 4, it's written that everybody in their primary and secondary qualification, they should get equal opportunity for education. There's also a provision that we should reduce the gender gap in education. If we are aware about this basic thing, then we can relate the provisions of national education policy with SDG 4, and we can answer really well. So I think if you focus on the basics, then you those knowledge gaps that you are talking about, that can be bridged. And again, that's why I am again and again saying that refer to previous year syllabus and previous year questions of UPSC. For example, there is a portion in the syllabus of GS3 in the arena of science and technology, that awareness about the contribution of Indians in the field of science and technology. So what happens that people generally do not prepare this subject. But if you really look at the syllabus, then you can think that at least we should be aware about the major Indian scientists. For example, C.V. Raman, S.N. Bose, or about Swaminathan, who did really well in the field of agriculture. So if you are aware about the famous scientists, I think you can tackle those questions also. Okay. So this was basically I wanted to tell about this question about knowledge gap. If there is any other question,
Yes, sir. There is one more question, that is how to evaluate whether our preparation is on right track.
yes, this is nice question. What I would tell you that honestly, based on your strength and weakness, set target. For example, if any student who is preparing along with their uh, college schedule also, obviously they will get less time, right? But if we understand that what are the times that I have, and if I prepare the plan of completing any history or quality book accordingly, then we can complete the those subjects and complete our target, right? But what happens that we become very ambitious while setting targets, and if we become too much ambitious, then we lost track and we become little bit depressed that we are not able to complete the syllabus. So what I would suggest you that set realistic target and try to complete that. For me, it was very clear that I did not focus too much about uh, the amount of hours that I'm putting in. What I was really concerned about is whether I'm really able to complete my target or not. I viewed the entire examination as a project management. There will be some students from civil engineering background who would have read about project management, right? So what we did in project management, that we basically divide the entire project into small deliverables and we try to complete those deliverables. So for UPSC also, what is the basic component? That first we have to read basic books, then we have to refer to previous year question, then we have to refer to various current affairs, right? Then we have to make notes for various main topics. So these are the basic things. So my idea was to complete those basic things. So this is the thing that I want to suggest you, that view it as a project management, set realistic target and complete those targets. And this is the best thing you can do to monitor your progress. Any other questions?
No, sir. I think we can move forward with the session now.
Okay. So there was one point that I missed. While reading basic books, I would suggest you to go holistically about this basic book. If you are reading these basic books, do not just focus on that. Okay, I'm reading for prelims. No, you should read this book in such a manner that you are able to complete prelims as well as mains portion also. That's why in the initial part I said that after reading of any book, you should try to solve the previous year both of prelims as well as mains paper, right? So this was the point I wanted to emphasize, which I forgot earlier, that while reading basic books, prepare in a holistic manner for both prelims as well as mains. Now coming to mains preparation. This is the most important part, certainly, because in the prelim, all we have to do is to qualify, is to score that much so that we can pass the cutoff round. For my main, what I did, I want to emphasize one thing, that in my 2019 attempt, my GS was not good. While reading also, while giving examination also, मैंने समझ गया था कि I am not able to write properly, I am not able to structure the requirement of the answer properly, and I was really skeptical about the kind of marks that I will get. And unfortunately, I also got very less marks in 2019 attempt. It was 331, which was almost 50 marks lower than the average good candidates who were getting in the various marks in GS portion. This year I scored 435 in GS, which was an increment of 104 marks. So I want to tell you that how I did this. What I did, after giving the prelims exam, I prepared notes, basic notes of every word that is mentioned in the UPSC syllabus. Every word, literally every word I'm emphasizing. You should not leave anything. UPSC, they really try to set questions from every topic. If they did not ask question about this topic from last 2 years, I am sure that they are going to ask any questions related to that topic, related to that syllabus in the next year. So make notes of every topic that is mentioned in the UPSC syllabus. What I did, I made notes out of Vision value addition material. They have prepared the notes really well. I made notes, it was my personal notes by extracting information from the Vision IS value addition material. There was a value addition material of society. For example, in society, there is a topic about population and associated issues. There is a portion about women and various movements of women. There is a portion about communalism, secularism. So I made notes out of everything. Of every topic mentioned in the syllabus. This was the basic notes. After preparing the basic notes, I started adding current affairs. Since I started preparing notes very late in my preparation, so what I did, I made notes out of Mains 365, which the Vision IS releases in the last phase of mains examination. But what I did after the completion of my mains exam in January 2021, I started reading Vision IS magazine monthly, and I made notes out of that magazine. And you won't believe, by 3 or 4 months, not more than 10 pages of information which was relevant out of 100 pages of information given every month of Vision IS magazine, because my notes became that much consolidated. Or for example, blockchain. If I have made notes of blockchain in my science and technology topic, and definitely blockchain is a topic which will come again and again. And what happens in Vision IS magazine, that 3 or 4 months it will repeat. So I will not add that portion, right? So this way, my idea was to make a consolidated note. We should have, first thing is basic topics, basic portion, and based on that basic portion, there should be build-up of current affairs. For example, there is a portion about vulnerable sections of the society and the various mechanisms, laws, institutions, and bodies, as well as various schemes of the government, central as well as state government. So what I did, what are the various vulnerable sections? Child, women, SC, STs, disabled people. So I made notes based on the syllabus of every marginalized section, and based on that basic portion, I used to add current affairs. And again, what are the things that we have to add from the current affairs? This you can only understand if you see the previous year question, that what are the things that are useful. Because at the end of the day, if you see the vastness of the current affair, you cannot remember everything. And again, it will become very complex. So my idea was to understand the requirement of the UPSC exam, and based on that, extract the limited amount of current affairs. And so this was the idea behind notes making, which I think was really exhaustive. In this year in GS3 paper, there were many easy questions, in the sense that it was direct questions. Like they asked about explain the salient features of Jal Shakti Abhiyan or National Clean Air Program. So it is more like direct questions, but people were not able to score properly in these questions because they did not cover this portion. And National Clean Air Program, this scheme was initiated in 2018 and it was asked in 2021. So there is a myth that goes in the market that we have to read last 1 year's current affairs. It's not like that. What you have to be aware that become aware about the major issues and the various steps that are taken by the government. For example, in air pollution is certainly a very big issue of in our country, right? And in that air pollution, government has released one overarching program for the entire country. If we understand the requirement of the exam, that they wanted you to know about the basic program. Government would have done at least 100 different things in this air pollution issue, but they wanted us to know only the major thing, that is National Clean Air Program. That was the overarching program of the government. And same thing happened in water issues also, because water stress is a really serious concern for our country. And the government has basically initiated this Jal Shakti Abhiyan, which is an overarching program in the water arena. So we should be aware about this water sector also. So this should be the idea, that you should be aware about the major issues and the major steps that are taken by the government. And how you would be able to understand the major issues, it will come gradually based on your understanding of the previous year questions as well as the syllabus. So do not get frustrated in the initial part of the preparation that we have to do so much. Keep building gradually, right? See the various toppers videos, but at the end of the day, you should understand what is the requirement of the exam. So this was the part about the current preparation. We should be limited, but at the same time exhaustive also, right? We should not read irrelevant information, but we should know about the relevant things, important things, major things. Now I would come to how do we remember as well as revise these notes that we have prepared. So first thing is limit your revising to these notes and revise as many times as you can. You won't believe Lakshmikant, I think I have read Lakshmikant at least 10 to 11 times. And my basic notes, the basic notes that I had prepared for main, I had revised it before the mains exam at least 6 to 7 times. So you should try to revise as much time as you can. Second thing is how to remember this vast amount of information. So again, here the idea of basic thing comes, that how do you structure as well as remember your various things, various notes that you have made in a basic manner. You should understand the pattern of everything. And it will only happen when you think in that way. For example, suppose we are reading about disaster management, which is a topic in GS3. In disaster management, there is a framework called Sendai framework. In Sendai framework, there are 5 concepts that are mentioned. That is understanding risk. Second thing is investing in disaster risk reduction. That is structural measures as well as non-structural measures. Fourth thing is capacity building. Fifth thing is awareness creation. Now, these are the frameworks, but in that portion, we have to understand what is understanding risk. How do we understand risk? First thing is, what is risk from any disaster? Once we understand risk, then we should know how do we understand risk. We can only understand when we analyze, when we do assessment of that disaster, when we do, for example, how do we understand the risk of flood? we can understand by first analyzing which are the various areas which are prone to flood in India. For example, northern Bihar, northern Uttar Pradesh, and then various coastal areas because of tsunami and cyclone, we face flood problem, right? So this is how we understand risk. So basically, we will try to remember the disaster management of every disaster in this framework of 5 framework that is mentioned in Sunday framework. And if we really understand the basic framework that I mentioned, then we can manage any disaster. Then we don't have to read individually for flood, cyclone, fire, as well as earthquake. If we understand the basic, we can club the basically disaster management of every disaster in that framework. To basically elaborate more on this, because this is my favorite part, I think in the limited time that I had during my training period of Indian Railways, I had limited time. So because of these things, I was able to score one of the highest marks in GS subject. Major thing was, how did I revise everything? How did I remember everything? One thing that I want to elaborate to give one example, that how do we remember the various provisions of any government program? Government releases many programs, for example, a National Clean Air Program or Poshan Abhiyan, or various things like MG Narega. So in any government program, what I saw is there is a pattern. There is objective and vision. Then second thing is they create an institution for implementation of that program. Third thing is, what is the funding mechanism for that program? Fifth thing is, what is the coordination mechanism between center and state? Then what are the unique features of that program? Like what are the various technologies? Then fifth thing is capacity building in that program. Because to implement any program, you have to build capacity also of your manpower as well as the people who are getting benefited. So this is how I had prepared sort of mind map in almost everything that I used to read. For example, in international relations, if I have to basically analyze the bilateral relationship between any two countries, for that matter, India and Saudi Arabia. So what are the dimensions that I have to focus upon? What I would do, I would think in terms of historical things, historical and cultural ties, political relationship, economic relationship, then cooperation in the multilateral institutions, then geostrategic as well as geo-economic relationships. Then what are the various challenges as well as concerns among between the relationship of two countries? So these were the frameworks along which I used to think. And if you have the framework ready, then you can easily extract the information. For example, there was a very good question in GS1 this year, that what are the various other factors that determines the location of iron and steel industry away from the location of raw materials. So for the location of any industry, I had a sort of mind map in my mind. What I used to do, I used to think in 6 to 7 terms. For example, first thing is the location of raw materials, which determines the location of industry. Second thing is market. Third thing is transportation. Fourth thing is government policy. Fifth thing is the physical as well as geographical condition of that area. So in this way, I used to remember things. If I have this framework ready, then I can locate the industries of both almost any kind of industries, be it iron and steel industry or be it cotton-based apparel industry, right? So this would be the way you should remember. Further, I I will make a video about how to remember things. I will elaborate about uh, creating such kind of mind map in almost every subject. I'll make a video in a detailed way. I just wanted to give you an overview about how to think, right? Think it in a basic manner, in a pattern wise, and in a proper framework manner. For example, suppose that there's an issue. How will you analyze that issue? First, you will know what is that issue. Then you will know what are the causes of that issue. Then should know what are the pros and cons of that issue. Then you will know that how can we improve or what should be the way forward for that issue. Sixth thing, another point that we will try to remember is what are the current steps that the government is taking to basically enhance or solve the problems of that issue. For example, initially I mentioned about gaming disorders in our teens as well as young aspirants also. So how will I analyze that thing? First, I will know what is gaming disorder. Then second, I will try to know why these things are happening. Third thing, I will try to know what are the pros and cons of that gaming disorder. Fifth thing, I will try to know how it impacts the individual as well as the society from this gaming disorder. And then another point I will try to know is what are the various steps that the government is taking to solve that issue, and what should be the way forward. That should be our understanding. That should be sort of our under, understood solution, right? So this was the basic framework, basic mind maps that I used to create to remember anything. And I would advise on every aspirant to think little bit more about the thing that I am emphasizing and improve on that. Now coming to answer writing portion. What I would suggest you that you should do almost answer writing on a daily basis. Obviously, in the initial part of preparation, you will not be able to do answer writing on a daily basis because you don't have that much knowledge. But once you read the basic book, you should start writing answers. For example, if I have read about modern history from Spectrum, then at least look the questions of previous year mains questions. And if you feel comfortable, then start writing those answers. Obviously, in the initial part, you will write bad answers, but see the toppers' copies and see how they are able to basically tackle the requirement of the question. And it's a gradual process. It's not that one day you start writing good. You will improve upon that. So this is my suggestion, that only practice previous year questions. And once you start writing well, once you develop the art of answer writing, then you can basically join any test series and write 20 questions in one go, which is another challenge, where the how well do you remember, how well you have prepared your content, how well are you able to remember, and then how well you are able to write and manage your time. This will determine whether you are able to write the answers of all the 20 questions in a proper time framework, right? So this should be the way of answer writing, that only focus on previous year questions, and then only when you read any basic book, or for example, if you are preparing notes of society from vision value addition material, and once you, after preparing those notes, you start revising that. Once you revise those society notes, you start solving the questions of previous year questions. And I would suggest you one more thing, that in your notes, all the previous year questions, you should try to incorporate the solutions of that question, especially in static part, for example, society, history, polity, constitutional part. What happens when you prepare the notes of these things, it becomes itself another answer. and you will able to incorporate those answers in other questions. For example, in society or social justice, where poverty developments are included, they ask really good questions. And if you remember the answer, I mean, you have thought over the answers of that question, you will be able to incorporate the answers in other questions, or you will be able to incorporate those sentences in other questions. Further, there is one more point that I want to emphasize is that uh, while preparing notes of that questions, what happens in UPSC questions, at least you will see in every paper, there will be one or two indirect questions which will be related to the previous year questions. So you will save time on those questions also because you have already gone over that question, right? So this is the thing that I wanted to emphasize in answer writing, that write previous year questions, think about it, and then the another thing that how are we going to evaluate it. So definitely you can take the help of your seniors as well as peer group. And again, when you join test series, you will be evaluated properly by the Costing Institute. But how can you do self-evaluation? What I would suggest you is read the answer copy of toppers and see how they are tackling various questions. And based on that, you should also try to tackle those questions. And if you really write for a long period of time, you will definitely improve upon your answer writing. There is no doubt that you won't be able to improve. Okay, but again, you have to do it properly, religiously. Now, so this was the GS part. I will. Okay, just one more point. How many? I mean, how much times are we going to continue for this session? I mean, how many hours? Is there any time limit, or people are okay?
I guess people are okay.
Yeah, but
1.5 hours will be fine.
Yeah. Actually, there is one more problem. I have to basically catch a train at 9:40. So I will close this session at around 8:50. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So I will go a little bit fast, but I will say one more thing that in a few days, I will make at least 3 to 4 hours of videos about every aspect of the preparation in an elaborate manner. You can refer to those things also. Okay. Now, coming to individual portions of main preparation. See, in the paper one, there is history portion, there is society portion, geography portion. In the history, there is NCRT, sorry, ancient, medieval, art and culture, modern history, uh, and society. Again, there are various topics mentioned. So what I did, I used to read from the books of ancient as well as modern as well as medieval history books. For modern history and post-independence India, I refer to Nitin Sangwan sir notes. You can refer to any notes that you find useful, but again stick to that notes only. For society, I refer to Vision IS value addition material, and for geography, I only refer to PMO. I made notes for my main, and I used to revise that notes only. In the paper two, for polity and constitutional static part, I only referred to Lakshmikant, and I used to remember various portions of Lakshmikant. Then there is another portion about governance and social justice. Those things I made notes from Vision IS value addition material. So these are the this was my basic idea about all the syllabus, various topics of that syllabus that I made notes from Vision IS value addition material. You should also do the same thing. Write the syllabus of the UPSC subtopics and find any useful notes and make notes out of that material, right? And revise those notes. I did this thing in all the GS paper. GS4, I want to say that read one book properly. I basically confused my preparation in GS4 subject. I read 2, 3 books, but this is not required. What I would suggest you that you can refer to Mudit Jain's Decode Ethics book. Read the every portion of that book, all the words, definitions mentioned in that book. Try to remember various examples and solve only previous year questions, nothing else. Especially in ethics, nothing else is required. Certainly, you can write test paper once you prepare yourself, but in the meantime, while preparing that subject, if you want to practice, not only want to, you should practice, but practice only previous year questions. For AC, this is one of the most trickiest part. What I would suggest you for the essay, that there is a book by Abdesh Singh, where he basically go through the entire aspect of essay. I would tell you to develop that quality. What I used to do is whenever I have to write on any essay topic, I would ask various questions from that essay topic. For example, there was an essay topic like life is a long journey from human being to being human. Then I would ask the question that what is life? What is long journey? What is human being? And what is being human? Then I would ask this question that why life is a long journey from human being to being human. Then I would try to find various examples that I can incorporate in that essay topic. Then I would, for example, I gave the example of Mahatma Gandhi. Certainly his example fits in this essay, that how he was a simple human being. He used to mind his own business. He was driven by his lust as well as other desires. Then how when he went to South Africa, he understood the problems of the mankind, how Indian indentured laborers are being exploited by the British colonialists. So he understood the problems of mankind and how he transformed himself from a simple human being to being human by understanding the problems of the society and trading on the path to solve that problem. So this was the basic idea, that I used to ask various questions in that essay topic, and then I used to find the answers of that essay topic from various dimensions. For example, economic dimension, environmental, historical dimension. So these things I learned from Avdesh sir's book. I would suggest you to go through that book. So this was about AC. Now I would come to optional paper. See, if your graduation subject is good, and if that subject is included in the UPSC syllabus, then you can choose that subject. For example, for me, I chose civil engineering because this was my strength part. But I would suggest all the aspirants that take a basic glance of every subject, because in almost every subject, every year, there are few people who are scoring really well. So if you prepare those subjects properly, you can certainly do good. And for that, again, choose by taking 2 or 3 factors into account. First thing is take a basic glance of all the famous subjects. Second thing is understand whether there are proper materials available in the market or not. Okay, so if you keep these 2 factors in mind, you can select the subject, and you should see whether that subject interests you or not. Okay, this was the optional part. For interview, I want to say that first thing, interview is not interview, it's personality test. They want to know how are you as a person. They, in the interview, in the personality test, they hardly ask any tough questions. It's like conversation. What are the various words that you have mentioned in your detailed application form? They basically get the idea of various questions from that various words you mentioned in your DAF, and it's very simple questions. It's just like we are talking to each other. Then only we will be able to understand how are you as a person. For example, if you have done civil engineering in your graduation, and if they ask any question about civil engineering and you are not able to answer, don't you think there will be an impression that you have not done well in your graduation part? At least whatever you have done, you should be well aware about those things. So the thing and that the idea that I want to convey in personality test is be aware about yourself. Whatever you have done in your life, what are the various extracurricular activities that you have done? For example, uh, in my interview, I had written that my extracurricular activity was mountaineering. I was also coordinator of adventure club. So they asked me so many questions from mountaineering, various aspects of that. They also asked me question about what was the various responsibility as a coordinator of adventure club? What are the things that you did? What are the various treks you have been to? So this is one that I want to emphasize, that whatever you do in your life, do it properly. So yes, this was the major things that I wanted to say. Now I would ask you to ask me questions, but again, currently it's 8:30. By 8:50 we will close the session because I don't have at least much time. But I will be making video about various aspects of the preparation in a detailed manner in 3 or 4 days. So you can refer to those videos also. Okay. Now you can ask me questions.
Yes, sir. So one of the question by a student of IITK was, uh, should we should we go for dual degree as a backup plan?
Yeah. uh, in my I also chose dual degree. So I was in civil engineering. I chose dual degree in aerospace engineering. But in the first semester of fifth year only, I realized that I don't want to continue in this. So I left that dual degree program in the first semester only. I did not continue with that. So what I would say you, that what are the things that you are doing? If you do it properly, I don't think there will be any dearth of uh, things that you can do. There are many things you can do in your life. Again, if you are good in your graduation subject and you think that in the future, if I do not uh, qualify in this examination, maybe I can do research, then certainly you can do dual degree. It will be very beneficial in your career. But just for the sake of doing the dual degree, that yes, by getting one more degree, I will have lot of backup plan. I don't think it is going to work. So take an informed decision, take a mature decision.
Right.
Okay.
So one of the participants asked that what is the detailed strategy for art and culture portion of GS1?
Yeah, I would really want to cover this question, but I will require more time. But I will go a little bit fast in that portion. So what I did, I read properly the old NCERT of ancient as well as medieval. That is R.S. Sharma, R.S. Sharma sir's book. So read that book properly. What you have to read, that I have already covered, that read by understanding syllabus and previous year questions. Then then again read 11th class NCERT for art and culture. And what I did, I also refer to Nitin Sangwan sir book. But if you find other book useful, you can refer to those book also. And read this much only. But at least this much things, you should cover it very holistically. You should be confident that if any question, both prelims as well as mains comes from this portion, I will not miss that question. This should be your idea. And beyond that, what happens in art and culture, that especially in prelims portion, they ask some questions out of blue, like from where they have asked it. You should not run behind those questions, because at the end in the prelims you have to qualify. While in mains, they ask very general, very broad questions. And if you remember, if you read and remember these many sources only, you will be able to tackle all the questions of main question. So this was the strategy for art and culture.
Right. So one of the participants has also asked that, is there any difference between the mock interview available on YouTube versus the real UPSC interview?
Yes, sir. मतलब in a real UPSC, first thing is they make you really very comfortable. It's very normal discussion type. I mean, Gaurav, if I see your detailed application form, I will start asking you very general questions. Okay, they first comfort you, and second thing is certainly they also ask many factual questions, but if you don't know, they do not drill you too much. So there is little bit difference, but at the end, what you can do is clear your basics properly, know yourself properly. Whatever things you have mentioned in that, if you know those things properly and you have a balanced opinion, right? For example, there was a question that the main chairman, who was Sujata Mehta ma'am, she asked me question that, do you think it was a wise decision to give green signal for various hydropower projects in Uttarakhand? So I had a little bit of good discussion in that question, but I took a stand that yes, it was not that good decision. There should be more environmental analysis. So you should be little bit curious. And second thing is, your thoughts should be basically driven by the ideas of the constitution, because at the end, who are you going to serve? India is a nation, and India is constituted of various citizens, various people residing in that nation. And what is the basis of this nation? That is our constitution, the values, the various values mentioned in those constitutions. So you should live by those words. And if you live by those words, your opinion will never be bad. Any other questions? Yes.
Yes, sir. There is a question. It is like it is asked that in a video after ESC result, you mentioned that remembering things was an issue for you. Did
Yes.
you face the difficulty when you shifted to CSE exam, where it was so much to remember?
That's what I told you. I gave a lot of time to this portion, remembering and revision. That how I used to find a pattern in almost everything. So it became very easy for me to remember, because I used to club various things into that pattern. For example, the entire disaster management can be covered by remembering that framework only. There will be little bit differences in every disaster management of every disaster, but that little bit things can be remembered, because the major difficulty was tackled by remembering the pattern. So this was my idea, and again I will elaborate more on this type of remembering by making another separate video. You can refer to that video.
Right, sir. So, sir, can you provide some tips for working students, those who are working in corporate world and preparing simultaneously for UPSC?
Yes. Yeah, first thing is, never think that I have less time. Just think that what time do you have, what constraint do you have, and start preparation from there based on those situations. First thing. Second thing is, use technology wisely. I mean, technology can be a great asset. For me, I was also a working person. I mean, I was undergoing training in Indian Railways in my this attempt when I qualified this exam. So what I did, almost everything in my notes, I basically converted to digital mode. I exported it in my tablet, and I read from my tablet. So you don't have to carry bulky notes, and you can read from anywhere Whenever you get time, you just open your tab and you start reading it. Okay, so utilize those times wisely. And third thing is think it as a project management. That what are the different things that you have to cover. Doesn't matter that whether you are reading for 8 to 10 hours daily for 2 or 3 years or not. Many aspirants they can do it in 1.5 years. Many aspirants, based on your capability, they are able to qualify this exam in 2 or 3 years. But again, based on your situation, you should devise your plan.
Thanks, Praveen. One of the participants asked that being an IITian, why didn't you go for mathematics as an optional subject rather than civil engineering?
First thing is, I mean, after getting into IT, I was more related to civil engineering. I basically gave 4 years of my life in civil engineering, so I did well. But I will tell you one thing, that actually I took mathematics as an optional during the initial phase. But when I saw the market, when I saw the coaching institute, I was little bit disappointed about the coaching institute of mathematics. But then the idea came into my mind that since I have done really well during my college days in civil engineering, then why should I go for mathematics when I can easily go for civil engineering? And the materials are really good in civil engineering. All the previous year questions are also solved. So that's why I went for civil engineering.
So one of the participants has also asked, since you have also aced the GATE examination and IES examination. So he asked that from the very beginning, like from the first semester, what should I focus on? Should I focus on GATE exam or IES exam?
From the beginning of semester of what? Your first, second year?
First year.
Yeah, I would suggest you that in the initial part of your college life, explore. You might be interested in so many things, and you will get in the process. You will develop many capabilities also. See, why IITians and for that matter engineers are more successful in this exam, because they understand the entire system, and based on that understanding they are able to devise the plan, they are able to understand the requirement of the exam, and they are also able to basically devise the preparation in a proper framework. And this is why we are more successful. So if, and we will be able to do these things only when we do various things in our colleges. For example, we do, I mean, यार पता नहीं तुम लोग कौन सी year से हो, but in second year, even in first year, we have so many things to do. Right. And if you are able to manage time for both extracurricular activities as well as your semester examination, I mean, don't you think itself is a great achievement? And in the process, you learn about so many things. I mean, in my second and third year, it was really hectic semester. And we used to do adventure club also, and we also participated in other extracurricular activities also, and we used to manage time. So in the process, you learn so many things. So I would suggest you to enjoy your college days, and if you want to focus on, then in the initial part, you can focus on the entire syllabus. I mean, it will cover both engineering service also, GATE also.
So one of the IITK students asked that, sir, if I have strong confidence in the UPSC examination, then should I go for placement since it takes much time for preparing for placements and all? So should I go for it or not?
It should be your decision. I mean, if you have a clear purpose that why do you want to become an IAS officer, or why do you want to go into civil service, then I don't think you should go for placement. But if you are, your family background is little bit financially not so strong, you want to become financially independent, and then you want to prepare, then you can take job. So again, it will depend on your condition, and this is the decision you should take, and it will vary for every single aspirant.
Right. So since we are currently running out of time, so can you share your golden memories of Galaxy Antaragni and being part of Adventure Club?
यार गैलेक्सी और एडवेंचर क्लब में तो बहुत फ्रॉड मारता था मैं, ठीक है। हाँ लेकिन यार गैलेक्सी, हाँ गैलेक्सी में ही होता है ना इंटर हॉस्टल कल्चरल कंपटीशन, राइट?
राइट, इंटर कल्चरल कंपटीशन।
यार हमें ज्यादा कुछ आता नहीं था, तो हम बेसिकली गेट के सामने, मैं हॉल 3 का था, तो हॉल 3 में गैलेक्सी तो बहुत ज्यादा एग्जॉस्टिव होता है, तो हमें वो बनाने को मिलता था, जिसे कुछ नहीं आता है ना उसे वो बनाने मिलता था। गेट के बाहर स्ट्रक्चर बनाने मिलता था, एक स्ट्रक्चर पोर्शन होता है, तो हम ना बेसिकली प्लाईवुड बैम्बू का
हाँ।
यूज करके अच्छा स्ट्रक्चर बनाते हैं, ठीक है।
Right.
तो यार कभी कभी रात भर सीनियर खटाते थे, ठीक है, बट now I realize that the way you cooperate with other people, the way you cooperate with senior. At that time, I used to get frustrated. Not only me, various other people also. But despite those frustration, also we used to complete those things by waking up throughout the night, and it was a great experience. But in Adventure Club, I learned a lot. Uh, I went to various peaks, for example, Mount Bagheera peak, and I made a lot of great friends also. So this was the great thing there.
Right. So Shubhi, do you have any questions?
No, I don't see any other questions from the audience.
So last call, if anyone have any questions to ask to Praveen, so kindly raise your hand. We will allow you to unmute.
हाँ यार, मतलब 8:50 तक you can ask, then I have to go यार.
There is a question. Sir, from where did you took the mock interview?
Okay, I took mock interview from Next IAS, Vision IAS, as well as Shankar IAS. Give 2-3 mock tests, that is enough. But more is again basic. I mean, you should know about the things that you have mentioned in your DAS, and further, you should be aware about the current issues in a basic way. You don't have to remember it in mains type of way. You should remember in a basic सरल भाषा में कि हम किसी से नॉर्मल लोगों से बात करेंगे तो किस तरह बात करेंगे, right? So you should know in that way. This is the best thing. And I will say one thing, that in this preparation, personality test starts right from the beginning. Like what kind of attitude do you have? Okay.
Right. So Utkarsh, go ahead and ask your question. Utkarsh.
Hello, sir. Good evening. Sir,
हाँ.
I had this one doubt. Since you firstly you prepared for IES and then you went for IAS, so like was the optional preparation a lot different in these two exams, or you were able to sail for very good IES with your IES preparation alone?
Okay. See, Utkarsh, it was not at all different. I just had to tweak my notes for ESE in a manner that is required in IES optional subject. So the work that I did, the hard work that I did during my ESE preparation, it was really beneficial for me. I just had to tweak a little bit of my preparation, but mostly again, I solved the previous year question of IES optional subject, and I revised notes of my various notes that I made during my ESE days, and it was enough for me. So not much different.
One last question, from where you did the coaching for UPSC?
Yeah, I did not take any coaching, neither for ESE, neither for GATE or CSE also. But I certainly took a mock test, test series. I also used the various magazines as well as various materials for UPSC syllabus, but I did not take any proper coaching, class coaching.
So coaching is not that necessary for the exam preparation?
Certainly not. I mean, see, what is the requirement of this exam? That you understand the syllabus, you understand the questions that are being asked, and you are able to solve those questions, right? At the end of the day, this is required. You can do this in so many ways. Some people do it through coaching. Some people do it by by reading standard books. But again, there are pros and cons of both things. Only when you know that your strength and weakness, you can do that. For example, for me, it's very hard for me to sit for 6 hours in the coaching in so much, narrow space. But again, a disadvantage was that if I do not attend coaching, I will not be able to get good guidance. But I solved that problem by referring to various toppers' videos, their guidance. So this is how you should take decision.
So, sir, it
Any
is
other
now
question?
almost. No, sir,
Okay.
I don't see any other question now. So, we
Okay.
would like to thank you very much for taking out time for this session. And we learned a lot of things today. And I hope that everyone who has attended this session, all the aspirants, I think they have learned a lot to take home with them today, and it will really help us with their preparation.
Okay, just I want to one thing. When the college is going to start for UG, offline physical presence?
Sir, some of the students are already in the college. We expect that from the next semester, maybe we all can be there.
Okay, nice. Maybe I will come someday in the college. Okay, then we can interact more.
Hopefully.
Okay. Okay, bye. Yaar.
Thanks, Praveen. And one last thing, that you mentioned that you will upload videos. So can you mention your channel name?
So basically, I'll make those videos through Unacademy channel. It will be 6 to 7 hours video. By 25th, 26th, you can see those videos. It will cover almost every aspect of the preparation. Okay.
Thanks, Praveen. Nice.
Okay, bye. Thanks. यार, चलो सुनने के लिए. Okay.
Thank
bye.
you, sir.
Thank you, Praveen.
You all can follow our YouTube channel to get more toppers video. We have All India Rank 5 from 2015 and All India Rank 7 from 2019. The link is in the chat. Gaurav, please share the link once again. Also, you can follow us on our social media handles to get updated.
And I have also posted a link of feedback form. So please provide your valuable feedback in the feedback form. Thanks. Yeah, wait a second. I am posting the YouTube link. Here is the YouTube link, YouTube video links. Thank you. Thank you all for attending this session.
We will also be holding these talks after a while. So you please make sure that you are all